Hello there my dear friends, and welcome back to another very exciting Star Wars video. It is I coming at you once again, your favourite galactic hostess, Star Wars Meg. And today, we are once again talking about the Mandalorian Grogu. I know it feels like we talk about this movie so often, but it's with good reason. There's been a lot of new info in recent weeks, and it feels like something public is imminent. Whether it's a cast announcement, our first poster, our first official teaser trailer, something is coming very soon. And today there is something to back this up. An official description on Movie Walker Press via Disney Japan, and this has been translated from Japanese. Now what's most interesting about this is even though we know so much about the movie, the rumoured cameos, the kind of adventure movie this is going to be, there are a couple of things in here that really caught my attention, that really made me do a double take. Notably that this description sounds so similar to The Mandalorian's first season, but it's not the same. This isn't Disney Japan just using a placeholder, they've gone out of their way to write this for the movie, and because it repeats so much of what happens in the show, fans are wondering, is The Mandalorian Grogu a reboot? Returning to the show's origins? Was this movie written for those who have no idea what the show is, and so are being introduced to the characters for the first time? If that's the case, I think some fans will be a bit disappointed. But I have been warning you guys that while this is set after the third season, it's not season 4, and now there is proof this is a soft reboot. Now just to compare the two synopses, this was the official description for season 1 back in 2019, just to show you that they're different. After the fall of the Galactic Empire, lawlessness has spread throughout the galaxy. A lone gunfighter makes his way through the outer reaches, earning his keep as a bounty hunter. So that was season 1. Now the Mandalorian Grogu synopsis is similar but different, because the way it opens got me super excited, and I almost got annoyed at myself for being excited about this, because they name drop a massive character to set the scene, to tell you when this is set. The character's not going to appear in the movie, this has nothing to do with him, but just seeing his name like this got me really hyped, and I don't know why. I'm mad at myself. They're just baiting us with cheap fan service, telling us when this takes place, but still I got excited. Sorry, I did. Let's take a look at what it says. It's a powerful opening. After the death of Darth Vader. There it is. That's the bit that got me like, oh, Darth Vader. But of course, he's dead. Anakin is a false ghost. I'd love for him to be in the movie, but I doubt it. So after the death of Darth Vader, the galaxy had become a lawless zone. The lone bounty hunter, the Mandalorian, encounters a child Grogu who harbours the Force during a certain job. Feeling a mysterious bond with Grogu, the Mandalorian sets out on a journey with him, disregarding his own peril. Along the way, the Mandalorian and Grogu develop a bond like that of parent and child. However, the remnants of the old Imperial forces begin to close in on these two. Okay, you know what? That is a fantastic plot synopsis. Tells the story, gets you excited, at least a bit. I mean, I know we know a lot about the movie, but if you're an average fan, I think this is pretty exciting. I do find it interesting they said after the death of Darth Vader instead of after the death of Palpatine, especially since Granddaddy Palps was in The Rise of Skywalker, but I think Darth Vader's a more popular character, but they are just baiting us. As Luke would say, it's a cheap shot, but it gets the fans intrigued. And the first time I read this, there was something about it that sounded so familiar. And then it dawned on me they've written this synopsis as a kind of opening crawl. Kathleen Kennedy said, Lucasfilm is bringing back the crawls for the new movies, and I think The Mandalorian Grogu is going to have one that is very similar to the ones for the Ahsoka show and Skeleton Crew. The way it's been worded is very similar. It's great for introducing newbies to this part of the franchise. They weren't Star Wars crawls in the traditional sense, like in the saga movies, but for the aforementioned shows we did get a bit of opening text. It just gives the viewer context. So don't be fooled, this isn't a repeat of The Mandalorian Season 1, but it does sound like a reboot. Because keep in mind, to you and me diehard fans who watch all of the shows, we're familiar with the timeline. We know what the New Republic is, we know this is post-Return of the Jedi, it all makes sense. But to your average casual fan, your average cinema goer, they may not have seen a Star Wars project since The Rise of Skywalker. Without this context, they might assume this is post-Episode 9. I don't blame them. I have Star Wars fan friends in real life who haven't seen The Mandalorian. I also just want to note, they mention the remnants. We know about one Shadow Council member who's going to make an appearance, but what if there's multiple? I'd love to see their reaction to Gideon's death, and Pelion alerting them that Grand Admiral Thrawn is back. I want to see the inner workings, and how they plan to take down the New Republic, and why they're closing in on Mando and Grogu. I also wonder if after the client's death, and the death of Gideon, are there other Imperial remnants who want Grogu's blood? That's a massive question. And the trailer shown at Celebration and again at D23 shows Grogu using the Force multiple times. He's done so across the 3 seasons of the show, as well as the Book of Boba Fett, but I think now that he's detached himself from the ways of the Jedi and is officially a Mandalorian apprentice, he's not as afraid to use his abilities. And who knows, with no Jedi to train him after Luke, maybe Grogu will tap into some dark side abilities, even while following the way of Mandalore, under the tutelage of Din. Some fans think the show's been teasing it for years, especially after Ahsoka warned Din about Grogu's attachment. Maybe this could be an interesting parallel with Darth Vader. The two were born on the same day, and we still don't know how they're connected. Although I must admit, this would be a bit dark for a film like this. But he's a very unique Mandalorian apprentice, and I have to be honest, I'm still very invested in his journey. Returning to this description being very similar to the TV show, I wonder how they're going to appease new fans while also avoiding repeating what we've already seen. And so I wonder if instead of a previously on the Mandalorian type of intro, the movie's going to intersperse some more flashbacks from Mando and Grogu's past. More of Grogu's adventures with Keller and Beck, and on the Mando front, being a foundling welcomed into the Mandalorian tribe after his parents were killed. We might see some brand new memories of both characters. And remember how the other day I said, I don't think The Mandalorian is Season 4 in its entirety? I bet in Jon Favreau's original Season 4 script, we were about to see how the Keller and Beck flashback ended. How the Jedi played by Ahmed Best rescued Grogu during Order 66 on Coruscant, and presumably took him to Naboo, because Kelleran was helped by the Naboo Guard. If the rumours are true, and the movie is a couple of episodes of what was going to be Season 4 combined, I hope Grogu's flashback was kept in. I really want to see where he was taken, and why eventually they were separated. Was Kelleran hunted down by the Empire, by Inquisitors? And how did Grogu eventually end up on Arvala 7, where Mando met him? And I wonder if some of these flashbacks are going to be just from Grogu's perspective. If there are other remnants out there who want Grogu's blood, they might have been aware of the child for many, many years. We don't know the full story, and that's something I'm super curious about. A few years ago on Star Wars YouTube, one of the big topics was who rescued Grogu during Order 66. Some people reckoned there were signs it was Barriss Offee, based on symbols in the background during the flashback in Book of Boba Fett. I speculated maybe Jocasta Nu or Mace Windu, but it ended up being a really out of left field pick, Keller and Beck, and the return of Ahmed Best to the Star Wars franchise. Some said it was a perfect decision, while other fans thought it was kind of dumb, and they would have preferred a bigger name. But returning to this synopsis, I know it's very simple, and it essentially summarizes Season 1, but it also makes me think about the reports that the movie is returning to the show's roots. Mando and Grogu, no Bo-Katan, on their adventures and being tracked down by the remnants. And I want to know more about why they're after them. Is it just because of the heist on the snow planet? Or do they have to capture someone? Is their mission to bring in a remnant to New Republic justice? After all, my friends, they are now Rangers of the New Republic. You see what I did there? Share your thoughts in the comments down below, my dear friends, and may the Force be with you, always.